Hello friends, welcome to SLS24 IAS. In this lecture video, we are going to solve the question number 9 of OPSC Preliminary Examination 2021. We have already solved the question number 1 to 8 of OPSC Preliminary Examination 2021, and we are going to solve all the 100 questions of OPSC Preliminary Examination 2021 as well as other previous year question papers of OPSC Preliminary Examination and UPSC Preliminary Examination. So please stay tuned to our YouTube channel SLS24 IAS for solution of all the previous year question papers of OPSC and UPSC. Now question number 9. Question number 9 says there are 4 statements given regarding game theory of policy evaluation, and question is asking to choose which of the following statements are correct. First statement is the basic concepts of game theory model are players in a game can be people, governments and institutions. This is correct. Okay, because in game theory the participants are called players and such players are can be people, such players can be government, can be institution or any corporation. Okay, so first statement is correct. Second statement, strategies are selected by players without anticipating the moves of other players. This is wrong because strategies are selected by players through anticipating the moves of other players. Okay, so without is wrong. Okay, so statement 2 is wrong. Third, players have different preferences among the possible outcomes. This one is correct. Players or the participants in that game, okay, they have different preferences among the possible outcomes. Fourth statement. So statement 3 is correct. Fourth, payoffs are often used to represent the value of these outcomes to different players. This is also correct. Payoffs are associated with the game theory and these payoffs are used to represent the value of those outcomes to different players. Okay, so and the individual players tries to maximize such payoffs. So statement IV is correct. Okay, statement I, triple I and IV are correct. Double I is incorrect. Okay, so question says which of the following statements or which of the above statements either are correct. Correct is I, triple I and IV, option A. So correct answer is option A. Now detailed answer. Okay, game theory is a theoretical framework for conceiving social situations among competing players. Now before moving into the discussion of game theory, let me tell you, if these type of questions are asked in OPSC or UPSC preliminary examination, you read it once, try to solve it in one time. If you cannot solve this question in one time, then please skip this question, because this question is, you can say, this is out of syllabus question. Okay, so a student appearing the OPSC preliminary examination and UPSC preliminary examination is not expected to know the answer of this question. So if any kind of or any such question comes in the examination, then you can skip the question altogether. Do not try to waste your time in solving this question. Okay, now the detailed answer. Detailed answer says game theory is a theoretical framework for conceiving social situations among competing players. Means first thing, what is game? So and what is game theory? Okay, through game theory we are trying to predict, or different outcomes can be predicted. Different outcomes in what situations? For example, one company has launched a product. Okay, now there are other products available from similar companies in the market, okay, from other companies. Now the company A or the main company wants to increase the price of the product or decrease the price of the product. What will happen to the competition if the company increases the prices of the product or decreases the prices of the product? That we can predict through game theory. Okay, so this is one such situation where price competition or such prediction can be done by the game theory regarding the competition of individual brands or the individual items. Okay, another one is product releases. That means at what time a company will launch its brand or product and what will be its impact among the other competitive companies or other companies in the market or other brands of different companies in the market. Such prediction can be done also using game theory. And in game theory, game is a social situation. Okay, game is a situation whose outcome okay, we can predict or can be predicted. Okay, game theory is basically used in economics. Okay, game theory is basically used in economics field. There are other fields also where application of game theory lies, but basically it is used in economics field. So in game theory, game is a social situation. Okay, there are individual competing rational players. Okay, so in game theory, game is a social situation. That's why I have said game theory is a theoretical framework for conceiving social situations among competing players. Okay. Alternatively, game theory is also or can also be called as the science of strategy. Okay. It is the science of strategy, or you can say the science of optimal decision making of competing players. Okay, players who are independent and competing in a strategic setting. Okay, that means game theory is the science of strategy, or we can say it is also game theory is a science of optimal decision making of independent, competing and rational players. Okay, using game theory, real world scenarios for situations such as pricing competition and product releases can be laid out and their outcomes can be predicted. This we have already discussed. Next, who has developed the game theory? Game theory was developed by mathematician John von Neumann and economist Oscar Morgenstern in the 1940s. Okay, they have developed game theory for application in economics. Now, mathematician John Nash is regarded as many as providing the first significant extension of the work of von Neumann and Morgenstern. Okay, so the game theory was developed by John von Neumann and economist Oscar Morgenstern in the 1940s, and the first significant expansion or the extension of work of John von Neumann and Oscar Morgenstern was done by American mathematician John Nash. Okay, the focus of game theory is the game. Okay, so what is the game in game theory? Game, as we have said, it's a situation, okay, or a model of interactive situation among competing rational and independent players. Okay, in game theory, game serves as a situation or a model of interactive situation among independent, rational and competing players. And so the key to game theory is that one player's payoff is contingent on strategy implemented by other player. That means the action and the choices of one particular competing player affects the decision making of other player or affects the strategy and decision making of other players. That's why that is the key to game theory. The individual players are independent, rational and competing. They are competing among each other. Why they are rational? Because they want to try to maximize, the payoff. Okay, and they are independent. Okay, but their decisions are dependent. That means the decision arrived by one player does affect the strategy of other player. That means one player's payoff, okay, is dependent on the strategy implemented by the other players. Okay, so next is the game theory is originally developed by whom? The Hungarian born American mathematician. Question arises, who has developed the game theory? It was originally developed by Hungarian born American mathematician John von Neumann and his Princeton University colleague Oscar Morgenstern, okay, who was a German born American economist. Okay, so one was American mathematician, other one is American economist. Okay, so to solve for why they have developed the game theory? To solve problems in economics. Okay, as you have said, is primarily applied in the economics field. Okay, but can be applied in other fields too. Okay, so they have originally developed game theory, John von Neumann and Oscar Morgenstern in the 1940s to solve problems in economics. They have written a book, The Theory of Games and Economic Behavior, in 1944. There, what they have said? They have said the John von Neumann and Oscar Morgenstern have written a book, The Theory of Games and Economic Behavior, in 1944. They have said that the mathematics which was developed for the physical sciences, okay, the mathematics which we are using for the physical sciences is a poor model for economics. Such mathematical models cannot be applied in economics. Okay, they serve as a poor model for economics. Economics is much like a game. According to them, economics is much like a game where players anticipate each other's moves and therefore require a new kind of mathematics, which they call game theory. Okay, games, they said the mathematics which is applied in physical sciences, they are different. They work for physical sciences but not for economics. Their mathematics developed for physical sciences serve as a poor model for economics. So a new model for economics must be developed, that is game theory. Okay. So they observed that economics is much like a game where players anticipate each other's moves and therefore require a new kind of mathematics which is called as game theory. Now what they have said, the game identifies where in the game theory, game is a model of interactive situation or a social situation. Okay. So the game identifies the players' identities, preferences and available strategies and how these strategies affect the outcome of the situation. This is given actually in the statement number 3. Okay, so statement number 3 is also correct. Okay. Now this one is most important. According to game theory, the actions and the choices of all the participants affect the outcome of each. This is the most important part. The action and the choices of all the participants affect the outcome of each. Okay, that means the individual players, they are independent, they are rational. Okay, they are competing, they want to maximize the payoff, but the decision making, their decisions affect the others. Their decisions are interdependent. Okay, the actions and the choices of all the participants affect the outcome of each participant. Okay, now what is the assumption of game theory? Okay, what game theory assumes? Game theory assumes that the players within the game are rational and try to maximize their payoffs in the game. Payoffs means payout, which can be in dollar or which can be in the form of utility. Okay, so payoff means payout. That means the individual player want to they are rational and they want to maximize their payout. Okay, in the game. Next, anytime now we can say where game theory can be applied. So we talked about game theory, we know about the nature of the game theory or nature of the players of the game theory. Now question is where we can apply. Anytime we have a situation with 2 or more players that involve known payouts or quantifiable payouts, we can use game theory to help determine the most likely outcomes. That means through game theory, what we are doing, we are trying to predict the outcomes. Okay, we are trying to predict the outcome of the game. Game is a social situation, so we are trying to predict the outcome of a social situation or a model of interactive situation where there are participants, there are individual participants who are independent, rational, competing, and their decisions and choices do affect the decisions and choices or strategies of other players. Okay, now applications. In which fields game theory can be applied? Psychology, evolutionary biology, war, politics, economics, business, and so on. Okay, there are many advantages of game theory. In all these fields, game theory can be applied. However, despite its main advantages or despite its many advantages, game theory is still a young science and a developing science. That means a science of very lesser time. Okay, as you know, it has been started in 1940s. Next, game. Now we will know what are the different terms. In game theory, there are different terms used. We will try to know one and each term. Game. What is a game in game theory? Game is any set of circumstances or situations that has a result dependent on the actions of 2 or more decision makers. Such 2 or more decision makers are called as participants or players. Okay, that means game means any set of circumstances or situation. Okay, where individual decision makers, 2 or more decision makers participate. Okay, now players. Who are players? The strategic decision maker or the participant or the parties who participate in the game. Okay, they are the strategic decision maker within the context of the game. Strategy. What is strategy? You know, strategy is a plan of action. We know strategy is a plan of action. So in the context of game theory, what is strategy? It is a complete plan of action of a player. Okay, it is complete plan of action. A player will be given in a set of circumstances that may arise within the game. That means simply it is a plan of action of a player which arise within a game. Okay, next, payoff. Payoff means payout a player receives from arriving at a particular outcome. Okay, payouts can be in the form of dollar or utility. Okay, payoffs means payout. Okay, payout received by a player from arriving at a particular outcome. That is called payoffs. It can be in the form of dollar or it can be in the form of utility. Okay, now information set. Information set means the information available at a given point of time in the game. That is called as information set. Now equilibrium. What is equilibrium in a game theory? The point in a game where both the players have made decisions and an outcome is reached. Okay, situation where both players have made decisions and one outcome is reached, that is called the point of equilibrium in game theory. Next, impact of game theory. As we have talked about the product pricing and the product releases, so there are many fields where the game theory can be applied or game theory has impacted many areas. Okay, now we'll learn. Game theory is present in almost every industry or field of research. Its expansive theory can pertain to many situations, making it a versatile and important theory to comprehend. One such application is in the theory of economics or in the field of economics. We know originally the work was developed for application in economics. Okay. In economics, game theory brought about a revolution in economics by addressing crucial problems in prior mathematical economic models. As we know, according to von Neumann and Morgenstern, the physical sciences, the mathematical models which are applied in physical sciences or do work in physical sciences or do work for physical sciences, but they are not applicable for economic models. Okay, they serve as poor economic model in economics. Okay, or poor mathematical models in economics. Hence a new science must be developed, okay, which is the game theory. Okay, for example, there are two situations. Okay, so entrepreneurial anticipation and imperfect competition. Okay, entrepreneurial anticipation and imperfect competition, these are situations where game theory can be applied. Okay, there are another situation where game theory can be applied, which is to understand the oligopoly farm behavior. Okay, oligopoly farm behavior means, for example, you talk about the telecom sector of India. There are only few players who fix the price of the services. Okay, such market are called oligopoly markets. Okay, there are monopolistic markets where there are one service provider. In oligopoly market, there are few service providers, okay, who can collude among themselves and fix the prices of the goods or services. Okay, those are called oligopoly markets, and the individual players are called oligopoly farms. Okay, game theory can be helpful to understand the oligopoly farm behavior. It also helps to predict the likely outcomes when farms engage in certain behaviors such as price fixing and collusion. That means, for example, in telecom sector of India, there are few players only. Okay, if these few companies try to fix prices, okay, by colluding among themselves, they can also increase prices of telecom services. Okay, that is called price fixing and collusion. Such few companies can collude among themselves and can increase the prices of the services, which will be detrimental to the interest of the consumers. Okay, these are called oligopoly farms. Okay, game theory will be helpful to understand the behavior of oligopoly farms, or it can be helpful to understand the entrepreneurial anticipation and imperfect competition in the market. Okay, next, second situation where game theory can be applied, consumer product pricing. Okay, consumer product pricing. Now we can understand this through the strategy of Black Friday shopping. Okay, Black Friday shopping means in USA during the time of Christmas, huge amount of discount are given in different products. Okay, in the sales mode. Okay, 40% off, 50% off, up to 100% off. These sales, okay, these sales discounts are given during the time of Christmas. Okay, that is called Black Friday shopping, whopping discount. Okay, very high discount. During that time, lot of shopping happens or lot of sales happens in USA during the time of Christmas. That is called Black Friday shopping. Okay, so here also, suppose one company increases or decreases the prices of product, okay, or the prices of individual product or individual brands. What will happen to the competition if the company fixes or decreases or increases the price of such products, or if a company gives a lot of sales in or lot of discounts in one product, what will happen to the competition? How the other competitors in the market will react to such sales? That can be predicted through games theory. Okay, so this is also the strategy of Black Friday shopping is at the heart of game theory. The concept holds that should companies reduce prices, more consumers will buy more goods. The relation between consumer, good and the financial access to transfer ownership plays a major part in game theory, as each consumer has different set of expectations. That means such sales, what will happen to the other companies, or what will happen to the brands of other companies, or how the other companies will react, can be predicted through game theory. Next, outside from sweeping sales in advance of holiday season, companies must utilize game theory when pricing products for launch or in anticipation of competition from rival goods. That means at what time a company will launch a product can be predicted through game theory. Okay, and competition also we have talked. Okay. Next, why the game theory is called game theory? See, it is called game theory since the theory tries to understand the strategic action of two or more players in a given situation containing set of rules and outcomes. While used in several disciplines, game theory is the most notably used as a tool within the study of business and economics. We have talked about this. Okay, it can be applied in several disciplines. Game theory can be applied in several disciplines, but it is most notably used as a tool within the study of business and economics. The games may involve how two competitor firms will react to price cuts by the other, or whether a firm should acquire another, or how traders in a stock market may react to price changes. That means if there will be price cut by one company, how two competitor firms will react can be predicted through game theory. Okay, whether a firm should acquire another firm or not, that is merger and acquisition, that can be predicted through game theory, or the outcome can be predicted through game theory. How traders in a stock market may react to price changes. Okay, such outcomes can also be predicted through game theory. Now, game theory is the study of how competitive strategies and participant actions can influence the outcome of a situation. Okay. So, now where game theory is relevant? It is relevant to war, biology, and many other facets of life. Okay, game theory is used in business to represent the strategic interactions in which outcome of one company or product depends on the actions taken by other companies or product. As we have learned, game theory is the science of strategy or the optimal decision making in which outcome of one company or product depends on the actions taken by the other companies or products. Okay, now game theory is applied. Game theory is a branch of applied mathematics. Okay, game theory is a branch of applied mathematics that provides tools for analyzing situations in which parties called players make decisions that are interdependent. These are individual independent parties. These are independent players, but their decisions are interdependent. This interdependence causes each player to consider the other player's possible decisions or strategies in formulating his own strategy. Okay, so now now we have learned in a game there are different players. They can have similar interest, they can have opposed interest, or they can have a combination of similar and opposed interest. Okay, now game theory, how it can be classified? Game theory can be classified by number of players. So it can be a 1-person game, it can be 2-person game, or it can be n-person game with n greater than 2. Okay, now a player need not be an individual. It may be a nation, a corporation, or a team comprising many people with shared interest. This was the statement number I. Statement number I is correct. This is exactly represents the statement number I. A player need not be an individual. So in a game, we know game is a situation or a model of interactive situation or a set of circumstances where player need not be an individual. Player can be an individual, player can be a nation, player can be a corporation, or player can be a team comprising of multiple people with shared interest. Okay, now applications of game theory. We have talked about different applications, what we can or in which situations we can apply game theory and predict the outcome. Okay, it has been used, for example, to determine what political coalition or business conglomerates are like to form. For example, there are different political parties, so political coalition can be formed before elections and after elections. Okay, how this political coalition will be formed? Okay, will be formed, or how the business conglomerates or business associations will be done. This can be predicted through game theory. Okay, what can be combinations? What will be its outcome? Okay, This can be predicted through game theory. Next, game theory. Through game theory, the optimal price at which to sell products or services in face of competition, that we have talked. At what price a company will sell its product, okay, or services in the face of competition, okay, that can be determined through game theory. The power of a voter or block of voters whom to select for a jury, that means, okay, through game theory we can also predict the power of voter or a group of voter, or how the group of voter or the power of a voter, I mean how the group of voter is going to react, okay, in a political situation. This can be also determined through game theory, okay, or which individual to select for a jury, that can be also predicted through game theory, okay. Next, the best site for manufacturing a plant, the behavior of certain animal plants in the struggle for survival, this can be also predicted through game theory, or game theory has applications also in these areas. That means suppose you are going to we are going to set a factory, or we are going to set a manufacturing plant, okay, or an industry. What location, in which location, okay, that can be predicted through game theory. And the behavior of certain animals and plants in the struggle for survival, okay, that can also be predicted through game theory. Next, it has been used to challenge the legality of certain voting systems, okay, that means certain voting systems are used in different countries, okay, whether the voting systems are legal or not, the legality of those voting systems can also be challenged and outcome predicted through game theory, okay. So this is question number 9. If you have liked this video, then please hit the like icon, share it among your friends, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel Hustle 24 IAS. Thank you so much.